everyone, bonjour à tous. I'm Zalika and welcome to the French American Fam channel. Have you ever found yourself wanting to learn a new language, whether it's for family, friends, for work, because you want to travel or move abroad, or maybe even for love? But instead of making progress, you find yourself struggling, feeling like it's an uphill climb, or like you're failing at your goals? Well, you're not alone. Today, I want to share with you all my French learning journey, why it's important to me, the challenges I face, methods that I use that helped me learn, and tips for anyone who's also on a language learning journey. For context, I'm an American living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was born and raised abroad in an overseas territory of the United States. I have also lived in many cities in the US like Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and now Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been married to a Frenchman for over 3 years, going on 4 years. He's from Paris, but he also spent many years growing up in Toulouse and has lived in other countries like Canada and the United States. When we first got married, we actually decided that we wanted to start our married life in France. Life did take a sharp turn, as it does often, and we ended up staying here in the United States. We bought a house. We have several dogs. We have a cat. So things are a lot more complicated, and it's not as easy to just up and move to France now, but we do like our life here and we are building our life here. Still, learning French is very important to me. It's not just about the language itself. It's about connection to my husband, to my extended family, and to the culture that shaped him. Have you ever noticed how a language can either build bridges or create distance? At home, we do try as much as possible to speak French, especially for things like greetings. We say good morning, we say hello, and we also greet each other good night, and we kind of try to fit in French as much as possible into daily life. Without daily immersion, you really have to be intentional about your language learning. Here are some of the things that worked for me, and hopefully they can work for you too. And by the way, this is not sponsored, this is not a promotion. I'm not getting paid to promote any of these products or companies. I'm just sharing with you all what worked for me and helped me level up on my language skills. So first up was Rosetta Stone. This is a very famous, highly reputable language learning company, and I had known about them for a very long time. So I decided to get on the internet, I Googled Rosetta Stone, and at the time when I did do this, they were having a sale. So they had a year-long membership sale, and I found out that I actually paid for lifelong membership, which is amazing because I believe I paid a little under $200 for lifelong membership. So I have access to many different languages, not just French. I actually took a look and I saw there's access to Mandarin, there's access to Spanish, there's access to Tagalog, and various other languages. Rosetta Stone gave me a solid foundation and an introduction to vocabulary, grammar, and it also comes with really helpful guides for daily life. The next thing I did on a regular basis is read the French news and watch French news on TV, like with the French 24 channel. You can find this channel on YouTube, and often they have the live version on YouTube. If you don't want to watch it on a computer, you can watch it on a smart TV. I also read global news and stories on an application, and at the top of my head, I honestly can't remember the name, but I am going to look for it right after I film this, and I'm going to put it right here in this part of the video, okay? So just keep in mind, I can't remember the name, but this learning tool on my iPad is amazing, and I actually do try to get on this application every night, and I read a news article or I read a story once a day. I love this application because while I'm reading the news, you can see both the French translation and the English version as well. And so you can click on words, you can save words to your glossary, you can make notes, and it's just a really helpful tool for me to see side by side the English version and the French version. The next thing that I like to do is watch YouTubers that either teach French or vlog in French. The two YouTubers that come to my mind that are amazing for this are Learn French with Alexa and Your Best French. Learn French with Alexa probably has the most complete and comprehensive playlist for beginners and for intermediate learners alike. And I love that Your Best French, she's a vlogger and she often goes to different places and she goes to like cafes, she goes to beaches, she goes to different cities, and she vlogs in a way that makes you feel immersed and makes you feel like you're a part of the journey and like you're also kind of going along with her to these different places. I love learning different vocabulary from Your Best French. And I just think that it's really great if you want to learn everyday French. And for grammar, I use what native French speakers use in school, which is the Becherel book. This little book is amazing. While it's so small, it's just jam-packed with information about conjugations and grammar. And I think that the Becherel is the essential foundational tool to learn French grammar, especially for verbs. Now, I think learning verbs, both the regular verbs as well as irregular verbs, is essential to level up your French. There are many, many irregular verbs in French, and I think it's kind of similar to English because English has a lot of irregular verbs as well. But French takes it a little further. They have so many conjugation forms. So if you want to know all of the conjugations for verbs, highly recommend taking a look at the Becherel book. Like I said earlier, I am not sponsored, this is not paid, but I do wish one day maybe they will sponsor me and I will be able to promote their products because I love them and I use them on a regular basis. And last, but certainly not least, the alphabet. As a person who has grown up taking music classes, both classical as well as contemporary, and having years and years of experience singing in a choir, singing a cappella, learning how to read and write music, I know that the foundations of music are essential to be a good singer or a good musician. So what did I do myself? I learned that the foundation of learning a language is the alphabet and sounds. When you learn the alphabet and you master the sounds, just like a kindergartner or a 5-year-old, you will be better able to succeed at your language learning journey in any language. So I highly recommend that if you're starting out, you should probably start with learning the alphabet. Memorize it, take it to heart, and practice the sounds and practice the shapes with your mouth. And the best way to practice and master this is with a native speaker. Have the native speaker listen to you say the alphabet or sing the alphabet and make the sounds, and they can help correct you if anything sounds a little bit off. Now, French is one of those languages that has an alphabet with some sounds that are kind of contrasting to the sounds in English. A quick pause before we keep moving forward. If you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. And let me know in the comments, are you learning a language right now? If so, what language, and what's been your biggest challenge so far? All right, it's time to get practical. What can you do to make progress and level up in the language that you're learning? Here are a few tips that helped me. First, allow yourself to make big mistakes. Shyness holds a lot of people back at first, but that's okay. We all make mistakes, and being able to make those mistakes is the only way you're ever going to be able to make corrections. You'll sound awkward at first, you'll be self-conscious, but everybody goes through that, and it's okay. Allow yourself to go through that stage. If you can, having a native speaker help you improve during that stage can only speed up the learning process. At first, I was super self-conscious even talking with my husband or family. So to be honest, I got a French tutor on italki, which I heard about on YouTube, and I was like, I'm not really sure if I want to use italki because I was also shy just talking to anyone, even if it was a stranger, friends, family, it didn't matter. I was just shy. So I took the leap and I signed up for italki. I was able to go through different teacher and tutor profiles and looked for a native French speaker that would help me with my vocabulary and help me increase my confidence. Having this tutor helped me get comfortable with speaking on a regular basis. The next tip is to make realistic goals. You don't need to set aside hours a day to learn a new language or to practice or to write or to read or anything. All you need is 5 to 10 minutes of consistency per day. It could be watching TV, it could be listening to a podcast, reading the news. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day of consistency is better than nothing. If you set a goal to spend hours and hours on end per day practicing the language, you may set yourself up for failure, which can only decrease your motivation. So I highly recommend setting a realistic goal, as long as it's something that is attainable to you and something that you can consistently pursue each week. If you absolutely have no time at all, you can even try to listen to music in French. You can put on a podcast while you're doing other tasks like cooking or cleaning, or you can put on the news in the background. And these are all little things that help you immerse yourself a little bit more into that language in your daily life. Consistency matters more than cramming. The next tip I have is to learn what is relevant to you and your life. I started building my vocabulary around things that I do on a daily basis and things around the house, just basic things like the rooms, things within the room, things that I use on a regular basis, and things that I need to ask for. So one of the first things I learned in French was actually kitchen utensils and cutlery. I learned words for knife, fork, spoon, dishwasher, plate, assiette, fourchette, couteau, planche découpée. I truly believe that language sticks in your brain when it's tied to things that are relevant to you and your life, and when it's tied to things that you actually care about. But here's the payoff. Those little efforts make a huge impact in real life. Here's a true story. One time, my husband and I went traveling to France to visit family, and we got separated at the airport because I'm a US citizen and he's a French citizen. So at the airport, there are 2 separate lines depending on your nationality. We got separated for like a whole hour, and during that time, I had struggles with security and lost luggage, and I needed to navigate through this myself. And because I had a very meager B1 French fluency, I was able to navigate these situations on my own. I was able to speak with the security staff, I was able to ask questions, and I was able to tell them my issues and sort everything out. But luckily, those things were only resolved because I was able to speak basic French. Now, my French is not perfect and I'm not 100% fluent, but those basic B-level skills helped me increase my independence and my confidence in communicating. Another moment that stands out was when I was in France and I needed to buy some things at the pharmacy, but my husband was busy speaking with relatives. And during that time, I really didn't want to interrupt his conversation, so I went into the pharmacy by myself. And I went to go purchase a couple of products, but I was a little bit confused because I was looking at some products that didn't really look like what I needed. I needed toothpaste, for example, and one of the toothpaste containers, I thought it was for dentures. So I just wanted to confirm this with the pharmacist, and because I had very basic B-level French skills, I was able to speak with the pharmacist and ask all of my questions, no problem. And she was able to help me and speak with me in French, and I was able to comprehend. So this is another situation that just jumps out at me of why it's really beneficial to learn another language. Also, something that I noticed is when you take the time and effort to learn a language and you do travel abroad and get into those situations where you're speaking with people who maybe don't speak English or your native language, they truly will appreciate and show you their appreciation by being polite and helpful when you take the effort to learn the basics in their language. Even those small victories felt so amazing because I had spent so many hours on end learning the language, and when I finally was able to apply those skills in real life, it just felt like everything had paid off. So if you're learning a language and you feel like you're struggling or you feel like it's too challenging, here's a reminder: keep going. It will be worth it in the end when you can finally use your language skills and apply them in real life. I personally see the value in language learning every day, from building deeper connections with my husband, his family, and his culture. It enriches my perspective, challenges my brain, and keeps it sharp, and it helps me embrace the beauty of living in a multicultural, multinational household. And remember, if you're learning a language, even if it's just for yourself, it's still worth it. Your brain will get exercise, and you will have a hobby that provides you daily enrichment. Language isn't just about words. It's about building bridges, showing respect, and opening yourself up to a new world of perspectives and cultures. So keep going, because every step, no matter how small, is progress. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir!